Loshak. This is the Loshak the Bag Show for Monday, December 4th. It's December. We're chugging along. Jimmy the Bag, believe it or not, last week was the same as 2 weeks ago. We actually, overall, both came up positive. Did you know that, or did it feel like a down week for you?
I knew that it was marginally positive.
Yes, marginally positive for both of us. The good news / bad news, though, is similar to 2 weeks ago. It was mostly due to college basketball. We were both way up in college basketball, both a little bit up in NBA, and both down in NHL.
Yeah, no problem.
Not a problem? Not a problem?
Nope.
Now, to me, that's a problem. To me, that's concerning. We're not doing that well in NHL, but we'll look to turn it around today. Again, today, I'm looking at the card, and there's a lot more in NBA than I'm liking than in NHL. So last week, overall, I was 47 and 39 plus 5 units. You were 35 and 36 plus 1.7 units. And, in college basketball, I was up 7.5 units. You were up 4.5 units. In NBA, I was up 3.7 units. You were up 0.8 units. But in NHL, I was down 2.5 units. You were down 2.3 units. And in college football, I had a down week. And in NFL, you had a down week. So, okay. Overall, not too bad. So, thankfully, a little bit more good than bad. But not so great that there's some bad thrown in there. Right, Jim?
Definitely feel like we need to have a better week.
Yes.
But even in these are our bad weeks, and they're still marginally positive.
Absolutely, that's right. And I was even up 5 units on the week, so I wouldn't necessarily call that. That's borderline marginal. That's not actual marginally positive. That's borderline marginal. It's cutting it close. All right, so let's get into it, shall we, Jim? You ready?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
All right, you ready? Let's do this. Let's go to NHL, see if we can find some winners today. Of course, what's up to all the regular viewers and the commenters who help us out. Once again this week, we need your help bad. Hey, Juanma, do you think I can get a little tablet there? Thanks very much, Juanma. Always on the case. Thank you so much. Juan Manuel, really appreciate it. All right, so let's see. In NHL, when Juanma is done, we will throw up the record, which is not a pretty sight, but we throw up the records whether they're positive or negative. Juanma, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Now I can see all the wonderful comments from all and helpful comments from all the viewers. And when you get a chance there, Juanma, you want to throw up the NHL. There you go, Juanma on the ball with the NHL record. All right, Jim. Overall, I'm 69 and 65, up a little bit more than 5 units. Overall, you're 72 and 88 down, only 2.5 units. You have been chipping away with those puck lines.
Yes, I have.
You haven't had a 4-0 puck line day in a while, but you had a bunch of 2-2 puck line days, chipping away. Today we got 4 games on the card. I'm not sure if I'm seeing anything that I'm really liking. Obviously, Philadelphia is an interesting case here. They're on an awful losing streak. Maybe they can get it done here because Calgary has certainly been beatable recently. We got Boston and Nashville both playing very well. The Islanders coming off that very high-scoring loss against Ottawa, but in general playing very well. Florida very beatable. It was odd to me that the Islanders was such it was basically even money. They actually opened as an underdog. I didn't understand that. It's now gotten bet up, and the Islanders are now minus 115 to minus 120, which makes some sense to me, although, again, the opening line didn't make much sense. And then San Jose against Washington. San Jose has been winning, but we know they're kind of a slow team, and Washington has been playing quite well recently, so I'm thinking maybe Washington as a home favorite, as a very small home favorite, might be worth a shot. Nothing that really jumps out at me that I'm loving. Jim, what do you like from this card, if anything?
Well, first off, I do like the line that we're getting with the Capitals. Mm-hmm. I think it's such a good line that it is a must bet on the puck line. The Sharks did just lose 5-2, but let's go with the Caps first. Caps have won 5 of their last 7. They're 18th in goals per game at just 2.9 and 20th in goals allowed at 3.1. I believe that they're a better team than those numbers indicate. Mm-hmm. They're a healthy squad other than Burakovsky, and I expect them to go on a run soon. Maybe right now, maybe this week. I expect them to start winning games, and they've won 5 of the last 7. I expect them to continue that. Sharks had their 3-game winning streak snapped Saturday night to the Lightning. They saw Martin Jones come back from injury. I have a sneaking suspicion he came back a little early. Mm-hmm. Concerned that kid, the 29-year-old backup might be taking his job. They're 7-3-1 on the road. This is the final game of their 4-game road trip. So I thought that teams were playing bad on the last game of their road trip, but last week that didn't work out for me, betting against teams on the last game of their road trip. Sharks are a tight defensive unit, terrible offensively, tight defensively, second in the league goals against, second in the league in penalty killing. I think the Capitals number on the puck line is so nice, so lucrative that I can't keep myself from taking it.
Okay, yeah. Do you trust Holtby? Because Holtby, of course, started the season poorly, then has started to play a lot better recently, but still you can score on him. And lifetime, he has just not done well against the San Jose Sharks system. Yeah.
Good addition there. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he's had some trouble there. He still looked very good at home. And although I'm not certain that he's a elite top 5 goaltender, he's still a really good goalie. And I think it's a good spot.
All right, I'm going to take him too. I'm going to take Washington -1. The money line part of that will be just -118 at Pinnacle right now, and the puck line part of that best line will be +253 also at Pinnacle. And you're going to take Washington on the puck line?
Yes.
All right, +253. Jimmy the Bag going for Washington on the puck line.
That's juicy.
+253, and I'm going to take Washington -1 myself. And what was I also thinking about here? I was also maybe thinking about a shot with the under. Do you think that San Jose is going to be able to score here? Maybe a shot with the San Jose team total under at just a 2.5 -106 at Pinnacle right now. What do you think?
Well, there's talk on the forum that Holtby is out, and I have not received that information either on all the major sites that I look at. I don't have that there, so I'm moving forward as if he's going to be playing.
I think everyone's saying I don't think he is, because everyone seems to be sure of this. Marissa Tham says Grubauer starts tonight.
Wow. I don't mind Grubauer. I don't think that's a huge loss, and there had to be some reason why we were getting the odds the way we are, but I'm going to double check that right now.
Skate for Eva says, don't trust Washington today. No, Justin seriously says, I actually like San Jose myself. I don't know. I'm thinking that San Jose is so, they're kind of beat up. If there's a replacement goalie for Washington, that's going to be okay for me. And especially at the current lines, I would take it. So yeah, it's Philip Grubauer is playing.
Philip Grubauer is in, confirmed.
Which is okay, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine with me. I'm actually feeling a little bit more comfortable. I wouldn't say that, but I'm okay with it. I'm going to take Washington -1. Jim's on Washington, puck line +253. And what else do you like, Jim, out of the other 3 games?
Well, I think with the Islanders-Panthers game is a tricky spot. Obviously, the Islanders lead the league in scoring, 3.7 a game. They scored 5 or more goals in 12 out of 25 games this season, but they're catching Luongo while he's caught fire since returning from that hand injury. 7th in the league with a .928 save percentage. He's allowed just 18 goals in his last 9 games. Panthers have lost 2 in a row, both by 1 goal. They're still 5-4-1 in their last 10. Despite the 2-game losing streak, they're being held back by atrocious special teams play. I want to back the Panthers as a home dog, but their special teams is so awful. At 29th in power play at 15.1%, 30th in penalty killing at 74.4%. I'm just going to leave this game alone.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. I was actually thinking maybe about taking a shot with the under. I know that the Islanders have obviously been explosive scoring recently, but feels like Luongo is a guy who's going to hold scoring down, and the total is still 6, I believe. Yeah, there's some 6s. There's 1 6 out there. Heritage has a 6 -110. What do you think about the under? Any thought?
I think the under and the Panthers are my lean. But with the Islanders playing the way they are and Florida's special teams being so bad, I just don't have enough faith in both those moves.
Okay. Grubauer averages almost 4 goals a game. Skate for Eva says yes. I think that but then again, San Jose is not the kind of team that can push a goalie like that, right? They're not a big offensive juggernaut that's going to come in and right.
Absolutely. This is the spot. This is a good spot for Grubauer. Now, there was a reason why we're getting +253 on the puck line with the Capitals. I'm more than comfortable taking that spot with Grubauer in goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
With the Bruins Predators thing, we are dealing with another father-son trip. And I believe in these things. There's a lot I don't believe in, but this is one thing I do believe in. They're playing their best hockey this season right now and getting healthier. Won 6 of 7. They've gone through a ton of adversity this year, and to get where they are right now is impressive. And Khudobin puts his undefeated streak, a regulation streak, 7-0-2, 2.22 goals against average, .932 save percentage against this Predators team that's clicking. Now, Ryan Johansson left the Ducks game in the second period. His status has not been updated. He's in 6'3", number 1 line center, very important to the cause. Preds have won 11-14. Their power play at home is unbelievable. They've scored at least 1 power play goal in all 13 of their home games and are hitting 39.6% at home. But because of the Ryan Johansson injury, because of everything that's going on with the Bruins and the father-son trip, I don't know which way to go to. I actually probably would lean to the Bruins and I'm not going to do that because obviously the odds makers see that. And the Bruins are getting a lot of respect in this game.
Yeah, I was leaning Bruins as well, except that it's not quite big enough of a puck line. I'm sorry, of a money line for me to want to bet them up. Also leaning under and the first period under here. What do you think, Jim?
Interesting. And DJ Big Boss Kai says, well, what happened last Father-Son thing? Under. Absolutely. That's what happened. And whose fathers are watching? Yeah, it's the Bruins' dads are at the game and on the trip. I'm concerned about this spot. I don't feel like I've got a good angle, and I'm going to leave it alone.
Okay, I will throw on the first period under. It's a 1.5 minus 105 at Pinnacle. I will throw that one on there. That's not a high line to be taking here, and my sense is just that Renee's playing well, right?
He is.
Playing very well. So I'm going to take the first period under. Yes, here we go. Skate Forever says Boston playing good hockey. Kudobin is trustable. Father's watching, going to be hyped. Johansson downgraded to doubtful. Jimmy, there we go. Let's see. Eric Swiatek says, first time been able to tune into the live show. Missed you boys. I doubled my bankroll over the weekend. Well, let's continue to build this. Wow, very nice. I won like about $7 this weekend. I thought that was pretty good. Let's see. What else do we have? Let's see. I'm just looking for some other comments here. Chris IG saying NHL is quite unpredictable at times. Absolutely. That's why you have to be aware of that when you're betting it day in, day out. King Rail says no defense and Islanders playing like trash. Over is my lean. Yeah, obviously, at first glance, you would think that the Islanders are a good play on the over every game, right?
They certainly have been playing that way.
Yeah. I'm thinking about an under on this one, though. I'm still thinking about it. I'm probably going to hold off. And let's see. Just looking for some other comments that might be all about Grubauer and Holtby. Let's see.
Gambling God came up with a good point. Only stat that I see is San Jose is 22-3 straight up in the last 25 games when playing Washington. I mean, I'm shocked at that number. That's a huge number, but again, that doesn't really concern me. I see a Caps team that's won 5 out of 7 that's about to go on a run.
Yeah, and King Rail says Sharks offense looks really bad. This is an under game, and I agree with that. I think if it's an under game, that means that Grubauer might be a spot where he's going to have one of his good starts. Yeah. Let's see. Eagles game was fixed. Everyone talking about that. That's pretty funny. Devin Rivera says Pistol Pete Stanford overs fucked me on Friday. Yeah, listen, I had that one too. I had the under 30 and wound up cashing at the last moment on the over. That's why you bet size appropriately. That's why did I bet my entire bankroll on that? No. And if I had, yes, I'd be bankrupt right now. But I didn't. I just lost 1 unit, which I can absolutely handle. Okay, let's see. Sorry though. I always hate to hear anyone tailing a play of mine and losing on it. All right, let's see. All right, so what else do you want to? Yeah, the Philly-Calgary game is very interesting. I was thinking maybe a shot with the over here. Philly can be very up and down when it comes to scoring, but they can put up the goals at times. And I was thinking this might be a good spot for it over. They're on the big losing streak. They're leaving from home. They're playing their first game on the road. I was thinking about a shot with the over on this one. What do you think about that?
I'm with you 100% and taking the over.
Really?
Definitely, especially after the Flyers just got shut out. I think they're going to be rolling. So some interesting stuff. First off, Wayne Simmons kept going over and over how happy he was that this team was heading out on the road, saying that it's the best thing for this team. And then you look at the goalies. The goalies are very susceptible. Flyers, Brian Elliott, 6-6-6, 2.97 goals against average, 904 save percentage. And then this Flames team's lost 3 out of 5 and needs to play better hockey as well. Mike Smith will be back in goal after getting pulled in the 7-5 loss to the Oilers on Saturday night. He's 12-8-1 on the year with a 2.69 goals against average, 920 save percentage. And I love the over, but I do think that I should take the Flames on the puck line in this situation. Now, I know that the 10 straight that the Flyers lost isn't as bad as it looks, as 5 have come in overtime or shootouts. But and I'm sure they're going to be happy to get on the road. In saying all that, the Flames need to play better. And there was an interesting point by, who was it? Steve here. Steve made a really interesting point about Johnny Hockey. Steve says, I went to high school with Goodrow. Take Calgary puck line. He's going to want to put on a show for everybody back home watching his bad Flyers team because he's from the area. I don't really think that's as big of a point, but I do see this Flames team stepping up at home when they've been playing poorly lately, and they know they need to make a push right now. Who better to make it against than the Flyers? Yeah, wow. He went to high school with this guy, and he knows how he thinks. And to me, that's pretty important. To you, that you don't think that's very important, though. I'm not saying it's not important. I think it's a great note. I mean, it's nice to know. But I know that he always steps up against this Flyers team. He actually steps up against the Devils team too, but I know he's not quite from there. He's a great hockey player. He's a stud and just a playmaker, composure, power play specialist, crafty, everything that you want in a scorer, and he seems to put it all on the line every game. I really like him.
Here we go. Bill Perry says Calgary sucks. I was at the game on Saturday when Edmonton scored 7 goals on them. Okay, that's, there's certainly outlier results in hockey, as people were commenting earlier in this chat box. Very unpredictable, and sometimes that stuff happens. You don't want to put too much into it, but that doesn't mean Calgary doesn't suck.
Well, I thought that was an impressive comeback, to be honest with you. In front of their home fans, they're down 6-1, and they put up 5 goals in 7 minutes and 44 seconds. I mean, that showed some heart. Yeah, they're not a good team. We've been saying it all year. They have no forward depth. I love that first line, and I love their defense, but no forward depth. I think this is a tricky spot, and that's why the market has it like this.
Yeah, interesting comments here. Adam Lassman says Flames do not lose at home against Philly. Adam Lassman says Flames burn Flyers, easy winner. Wow, yeah. All right. And then Devin Rivera says, no worries, Pistol. I won the unit back on Stanford +4. Still love you. Thanks so much, Dev. There you go. That's a guy who knows how to comment in these shows. Absolutely. Gives the entire picture, right? The winners and the losers, the hate and the love. Thanks so much, Devin Rivera. Right back at you. Thanks so much. Yeah. Okay, so what are you going to do on this game? I'm definitely going to take the over on this one. It definitely feels like, what's your take on Philly? Are they awful? Are they going to turn it around at some point?
I expect, well, we said it, and we made such a big point of it. When they lost Radko Gudas, who will be back, and he'll be fresh and ready to go. It's not like he's coming back from an injury. It's a 10-game suspension. That they lost that physical entity that every team desperately needs. And when they lost that, they're having trouble clearing out the front of the net. They don't have enough size, and that's just affecting them. So I think they're an okay hockey team.
Skate Forever says Flyers are god-awful. Nolan Patrick equals bust. He's on the second line. Wow.
Yeah, and he's playing top 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I do think he'll be okay in the long run. But.
All right, well, I'm taking the over on that one, 5.5 minus 112. How are you taking this one, Jim?
I'm taking both the over and the Flyers minus 1.5.
All right, the over is 5.5 minus 112 that we're getting. We'll see where that line moves by 6 o'clock Eastern time.
My guess is that it goes in our direction.
We shall see. That's what I guess as well. And the Calgary puck line is going to be best line shopping here at SBRodds.com at bookmaker plus 210.
Plus 210, I like it.
Calgary puck line plus 210. Okay. Wow, a lot of back and forth on this game. I mean, it does seem like Philly's struggles for now are very real, and this might be a bit of an up spot for Calgary. Maybe I'll wind up tailing on this one. I think I'm going to hold off and wait to see what the lines are at 6 o'clock. But I'm definitely going on the over with Jim there. All right, so we've broken down every game. Jim's on the Washington puck line, the Calgary puck line, and the Philly-Calgary over 5.5 minus 112. I'm on Washington minus 1, the Philly-Calgary over 5.5, and Boston-Nashville first period under minus 105. I'm thinking about going on Calgary minus 1 there with Jim. I think he has a good read on that one. And I guess something tells me that the Islanders-Florida game goes under, but I'm going to hold off on that one and got to be thinking about the under in the full game on Boston-Nashville as well. And the Boston line, wow, has dropped all the way. I thought Boston was, I thought the line when they were at plus 120 when they opened was not quite good enough to bet them. Now it's all the way down to plus 102, 104, 105 market
totally.
wide. So
I agree completely. This morning I
Yeah.
didn't think that it was good enough, and now it's even worse.
All right, so Jim and I vaguely in agreement on the NHL. That overall has not been a great idea, but on Mondays it has been to tail plays that Jim and I are both liking. So we're both on Washington. He's on the puck line. I'm on the minus 1 line. We're both on the Philly-Calgary over 5.5, and I'm on the Boston-Nashville first period under. Jim's on the Calgary puck line. All right, shall we move on?
Yes.
All right, now let's move on to NBA, and we can throw up this NBA record, which is looking better than the NHL record. I've been a little bit up and down recently. Still up 9.5 units on the year. Jim, right now you are 71-70, down 1 single unit, which is nothing. One winning day will obliterate that easily.
Yes.
You realize you're down by a unit, though, right?
I
You
do
track your own
realize
picks, and I don't want you to think that I'm like, fudging your record in a negative way or anything. I'm absolutely religiously dedicated to accurate record keeping. Here we are, Jimmy the Bag. We got a big card in NBA today. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of back and forths on a lot of these games. I don't even know where to start. Well, let's just start with I guess let's start with the Golden State game. Why not? Did you look at that one, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Golden State obviously on a back-to-back. They blew out Miami recently. Obviously, the Golden State Stars are not too banged up to get blowout wins. The last time these two teams met, though, it was a modest scoring game, and I'm thinking the under might be worth the play here as well. As we know, Anthony Davis is out. I'm not sure what I think about the spread. Could easily see some Golden State guys sitting or taking the night off here, but I'm thinking about the under. What do you think, Jim?
It's interesting. It's gone up since the morning. It started at 226.5. It's mostly at 228 tonight. And yeah, Anthony Davis out with the pelvis injury. But with Davis out, the Pelicans upset the Trailblazers 123-116 on Saturday night. DeMarcus Cousins clearly steps it up. This is a guy who really does pick and choose when he wants to play. He clearly steps it up when he's missing who he calls his partner in crime. He had 38 points, 13 boards. After starting out the year 4-3, the Warriors have gone 14-3. Second half of a back-to-back, and that's always a major concern, is what Pete just said. Who are they going to rest? You know they're going to rest somebody. They held the Heat to just 35 in the second half. Curry put up 30 and rested the entire fourth. So maybe because he rested the entire fourth, maybe he's good to go. The Warriors have won 19 of their past 20 versus the Pelicans. They're 3-0 on the season-high 6-game road trip. I just think that we can't make a move until later on, until the next show, until we know exactly who the Warriors will be resting.
Okay, well, I am going to make one move here, Jim. I'm going to take the under 228 or 228.5 market wide. As you said, it has gotten bet up a little bit, which doesn't totally concern me. A lot of times we see line moves that go one way at this point in the day, and then by 6 o'clock they've gotten the other way. Usually, in my opinion, those later line moves are sharper. Not always, though. I am going to take the under here, 228.5. New Orleans, Golden State. That's a borderline play, but I'm going to take it. I might wind up. There's a lot of plays I'm liking on today's card, Jim, and I might wind up giving them all. So I'm just going to start off with that. Let's get to a play that you particularly want to highlight here, Jim.
Sure. I'm going to take the Milwaukee Bucks on the first half line against the Celtics. Bucks are 12-9. They're now 8-3 since the Bledsoe deal. And I was questioning how they were playing with Bledsoe in the lineup, and they've clearly got their shit together. They came home and beat the Kings last night 109-104. Jason Kidd called it a trap game, and he was worried about it. They'd won 3 of their 4 games on the West Coast road trip. Now the Celtics have brought in Aaron Baines in the starting lineup. That slows them down. Marcus Morris is obviously dealing with some knee problems. He doesn't like being out of the starting lineup, but he understands why he has to be there. The Celtics have had a tough time with the Greek Freak. In 2 games versus him, he has 65 points, 23 boards, 10 assists. I think this is a great spot for the first half.
Yes, I was actually thinking about Milwaukee here on the full game. I jumped on it at +6. It's now down to a 5, 4.5. There's still a 5.5 available. Bet DSI. I generally agree with you that I'm kind of liking Milwaukee as a dog in any spot here. I was also thinking about a shot with the over. Sorry, what do you think about a shot with the over? Obviously, Milwaukee's been better offensively recently, and Boston has, I think, let up a little bit defensively. Their defensive intensity has slowed down a little bit. What do you think about a shot with the over? What do you think?
It's not a bad spot. I can see, especially with the rested Bucks team, but I get very concerned the way Irving can completely control the pace and. With Baines in the lineup, that already kind of leans to a lower scoring situation. I can see the angle, but I'm not. I don't have enough to convince myself.
Okay, so you want to take it on the first half?
Yes.
Milwaukee on the first half, best line be +2.5, -105. -105. Milwaukee first half +2.5, -105 at Boston. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait and think about this one a little bit, check the line movement, and come back and revisit it at 6 o'clock. But again, I would be leaning right now Milwaukee plus the points on the full game and the over a little bit, and we'll get back to that.
A lot of guys are liking your over. Steven Mraz over, exclamation marks. Donald Trump, love the Milwaukee over pick.
Why don't you like it again, Jim? Just because Baines slows him down?
Yes, Baines slows them down, and Irving controls the pace. It's not that I don't like it. I just don't like it enough to make a move on it.
Interesting. Tomarino Tomor always does his research and insightful breakdown. Says Boston is obviously playing great, but they have no front line. Greek Freak should have strong matchup advantages. In the first matchup, Boston packed the paint. Milwaukee is shooting better here. So it seems like he's generally agreeing with you. Absolutely. Yes, Stephen Mraz likes it. Okay. All right. Hako Schofield in all caps says, wow, I think Boston here, Bag. But, okay, great. Good for you.
Adam Lastman likes the Bucks game over as well.
All right, I will. Let me just think about this one for a second. All right, I will throw that one on there for now. If it, I think the line, if anything, it will get bet up. So if I don't like it later on, I'll take it back. I'll take it. It's 202, 202 and a half, or 203 market wide. So I'll grab the 202. Again, this was a bet that I definitely made when it opened at 202. So I will take that one. 202 minus 110, and that is the line right now at Bookmaker. And 5 times. We don't use 5 times. The Bookmaker has 202 minus 110. I'll take that one, Jim.
King Rail's with you too. He says he's won 11 out of 11 since Friday in the NBA, and he likes the over in Milwaukee. So that's a good place to have him. And
Jesus Christ,
have him backing you.
Very nice job, King Rail. Okay. Yes, and that's the other thing is that Milwaukee lost their home opener to Boston. It's a big revenge game and measuring stick for Boston. Okay, yes, Tomarino says, Dale, I hit Milwaukee -6. I did as well. I hit Boston, I hit Milwaukee +6 as well, and that's also a lean of mine also. All right, now let's talk about another revenge game, right? Brooklyn and Atlanta. They played recently. Atlanta went into Brooklyn and got the win, but I don't know if we would consider Atlanta to be too formidable of a team here. Brooklyn should be able to get the revenge. Is Brooklyn a great bet here on the full game, on the first half, something like that? What do you think?
It's a tricky spot, and I've been going back and forth on this. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this game as well. Back end of a home and home. Hawks defeated the Nets 114-102 in Brooklyn Saturday night, but they've not won consecutive games all year, and the Nets looked awful. And it was another situation where they were getting players back, Crabbe and Hollis Jefferson, and the lineup was just a little wonky having their good players back. So I think they'll be much, much better tonight. The Nets are 7-3 when Damari Carroll scores at least 15 points. He was held to 9 on Saturday night. Miles Plumlee started at center for the Hawks and will be counted on in a big way, which is would be very scary for any Hawks fans with both Dwayne Dedmon and John Collins out with injuries. Luke Babbitt put up a monster line, 20 points in 20 minutes. We'll have to continue that for the Hawks' depleted front court. This is a tricky spot. I don't know what exactly to do. I've seen a lot of guys are liking Brooklyn, and there's more now, even because Brooklyn was a call early before we came on. But wow, Rehan Hyder likes Brooklyn. TDI Hatch Nets all the way. Here's Rian Ryder saying Carroll will show up against his former team. Nets will get it done.
All right, I'm taking it. I'm taking the Nets on the first quarter. I'm going to use the Pinnacle opener. It should be about pick'em. There are some first quarters out already, but I'm not going to take any of those. I'm going to wait for the Pinnacle opener. I'll take the Nets on the first quarter Pinnacle opener and on the first half, plus a half point -111 at Pinnacle right now. I'm going to take this one 2 ways, Jim.
I like it. I get it.
Here you go. Matt Beck says Hawks get it done at home, -1 maybe. Luke Charleston says Atlanta looked good Saturday, just has a letdown feel to it. I'm staying away. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me see. Bookie Lover Q says stay away, better value elsewhere. Vishnu Ace says I'm taking Atlanta. Okay, back and forth. So I am going to double up on Brooklyn here. First half and first quarter. Hopefully they will be able to get at least one of those done. Maybe both of them. What else are you liking, Jim, from today's card?
I like the Spurs a lot this evening, and we just saw the Sixers make a blueprint on how you beat the Pistons. You go over and over again, you go at Andre Drummond and get him into trouble. The Spurs have a ton of bigs that can do that job. Last night, they played without LaMarcus Aldridge, Rudy Gay, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. Those 4 will all be in the lineup tonight. Now, losing Kyle Anderson is a big blow. He's looked so good at the point forward, had to be carried off the floor last night with a knee injury. But there was some huge positive. DeJounte Murray looked so good at the point. He put up 17 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, and he kept Russell Westbrook at bay. Pistons have now lost 2 straight. They were out-rebounded by 11 to the Sixers and by 15 to the Wizards. The Sixers had a 17-7 offensive rebounding advantage. If Drummond isn't getting boards, no one in a Pistons uniform is. The key to beating the Pistons is simple. Get Drummond in foul trouble. He fouled out with 2:55 left to play, and I think the Spurs bigs will be able to do that.
Okay, so let's see if there's any other. Gonzalo Lopez says Spurs with you. He likes that as well. Let's see. Other comments here. All right, so you want the Spurs on the spread, huh?
I want them on both the first half and the full game. Hako Schofield says love the Spurs. Matt Beck says love the Spurs tonight. I just think this is a great spot, and
okay, well, the first half is 1 or 1.5 market wide, so we can give you first half -1, -110 at Bookmaker. And then the full game, though, there aren't any threes. It's all 3.5, so we can give you -3.5, -105 also at Bookmaker.
love it.
Okay, so Jim has added Spurs first half -1 and -3.5 -105 on the full game. I was looking at this one thinking maybe about a shot with the under at 198. What do you think about that?
I do. If I had to lean to one of the totals, it would definitely be the under.
You think that that the Spurs are going to that Detroit's going to ramp up the pace here, or that they're going to be okay with getting into a defensive battle?
Well, the Spurs have an ability to play that kind of a game.
Mm-hmm.
And so if Van Gundy decides to do that, the Spurs can battle it. That would be the only worry, would be the Pistons really try to ramp it up. Mm-hmm. And it does sort of make sense, because if I was a Spurs team, I would slow it down and I would take my time and I would go at Drummond and then pass it out and then go back at Drummond and pass it out and then keep going back at Drummond. Mm-hmm. So if I was coaching the Spurs, I would slow it crazy down. If I was coaching the Pistons, I would probably try to speed it up.
Right, and you think that the Pistons are going to be able to be slowed down?
I do.
I think probably yes. I'm leaning the first half under, which is 102, and the full game under 198. But this is one I'm going to think about, look into a little bit more, and maybe revisit a little bit later. Okay, next. Let's
one last thing is that King Rail says that Paul might sit out tonight for the Spurs, and we definitely, the Spurs need him to keep hammering at Drummond, but they have bigs. They have a lot of options, and I'm pretty comfortable with the situation, even without a Pau Gasol in the lineup.
Okay, sounds good. Now, someone was mentioning the Denver-Dallas game. That's an interesting one. Denver, of course, has been bad on the road, looking to get a little bit better in this upcoming slew of road games. And of course, wait, let me just find my notes on this one. So Jokic is out. How do you think that affects Jokic? How do you think that affects Denver with him being out?
I think they're in a tough spot. I think this is going to be a very tough road swing. Their average margin of defeat away from the Pepsi Center is 18.1 points. They're third in the league in assists at home and 29th on the road. They average 8 less assists a game. Denver's 3 best players are all dealing with injuries. Millsap will be out for several months. Jokic has been declared out, and Wilson Chandler is questionable with a back injury. Those are their 3 most important players. The Mavs are 4-10 at home, and they're coming off that ugly loss to the Nets. And that's really going to motivate. Carlisle's going to motivate them. I think the Mavs are in a nice spot here.
Okay, I was thinking about unders on this one, first half and full game. You think they're motivated, meaning that they're going to clamp down on D, or ramp it up a little bit offensively?
I think the under is a nice spot, too. I think they're going to clamp down on D. I think they're going to the only way the Nuggets can stop them is by dominating the perimeter. If you know that's the case and you can get out there and force difficult shots, the Nuggets will come inside and they'll lose.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna take it on the first half. It's 106.5 or 107. First half, I will take 107 minus 110. That is the line right now at BetDSI, and the full game also headed down a little bit, but it's 208.5 or 209, and I will take the Pinnacle line, which is 209 minus 106 under. 209 minus 106. So I'm taking this one 2 ways. I think that it'll be a modest scoring game. If not, I'll have to eat a couple units of loss, which will not be a good thing, not be a pleasant thing for me to do. But I mean, if you want to make units, you got to risk some units, right?
Absolutely.
You got to make your calculated risks. If you don't take any calculated risks, your overall record will be 0. Go find something else to do in life. So I'm going to take two unders on this one. Denver against Dallas. Al Hard says I like the under, Pete. Very nice. Baseball Bob. Sorry, I was about to say that this guy's opinion, but then it's Baseball Bob. So no, we're not going to take his opinion as gospel here. Baseball Bob says Nuggets not good away from home. That is absolutely true. Isaac Manion says Denver is trash away, and I think that they were are aware of that and looking to change it. Not necessarily. That doesn't necessarily mean they'll be able to, though.
Yeah, I like the Mavericks a lot here. I'm going to take them on the full game.
Okay, so I'm on the under. A lot of people are taking. Oh, sorry. Oh, you are taking them on the full game.
Oh, yeah.
You just made that decision.
Oh no, that was my decision all.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay, so you're taking Dallas here.
Yes.
Okay, on the full game.
Yes.
Let's see. Best line will be 2.5 minus 108 at Pinnacle. Here we go. Dallas. Minus 2.5, minus 108. All right, both Jim and I with a lot of NBA picks, and in general, people are agreeing with this. All right, let's go to the Utah game because I just saw a comment from Devin Rivera saying Jazz is low-hanging fruit. Now, of course, the Jazz have been absolutely rolling since they figured out how to play with Gobert, right? 5 straight straight up and ATS wins. Offense is exploding. Offense is doing great. I was thinking maybe about a shot with the over here. Washington, of course, is without Wall. They've been 2-2 without him. So, they're figuring out how to be okay without him. I can understand why Devin Rivera would say the Jazz are low-hanging fruit here. I was thinking about the over. What's your take on this one, Jim?
I like the Jazz here. I've been very impressed with them. 5 straight behind the great play of Favors, Mitchell, and Burks. They have been extremely impressive doing this without Rudy Gobert and Rodney Hood. Now, Rudy Gobert could come back into the lineup today, and that actually, to be honest with you, it kind of concerns me a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want them to mess with. Obviously, they need Rudy Gobert. He's an incredible rim protector, and he's enormously important, but we've seen what happens on the first game back. It messes with the rhythm of teams, and we just saw it with the Nets. But man, are they playing good. Favors is averaging 18.6 on 73% shooting. Burks is averaging 18.9 on 55.9% shooting. Mitchell just dropped 41 on the Pelicans. Man, they're a good team. And the Wizards have been pretty good without John Wall. Otto Porter has stepped up offensively and defensively. He's averaging 17.8 points a game, 6.3 boards, and he has the best steals to turnover ratio in the NBA. The one thing that concerns me about this is Beal had a bad shooting game. He went 4 for 11 for 10 points against the Pistons with 7 turnovers. And we know what happens when elite players like that have bad games. They come back and they drop daggers. So I'm a little concerned about a couple things, but I can't not take this -3 points. I just think it's a great spot.
Okay, you're going to take Utah, huh?
Full game.
All right. Well, there aren't any threes. It's only 3.5s, Jim. It opened at 2.5. It's now up to 3.5. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Although you are getting -101 at Pinnacle. So Jim's going to take Utah -3.5. -101. That is the current line at Pinnacle. There were a bunch of people agreeing with the over. Some saying that the Utah team total over might be worth a shot, which is something that I was definitely thinking about as well. The Utah team total is just 102, which obviously the way they've been playing recently is appears to be very low. But I guess I am concerned that Gobert comes back and things slow down offensively and they stop working offensively. Do we know for certain that he's coming back, or
we don't? But from what I read this morning, he is he's much more likely than Hood, but both are possible to come back. So it's a tricky spot.
All right, I'm going to hold off on this one for now. I'll get some more research done and look into the line moves. But my leans would definitely be to the over at 200.5 and to the Utah team total over at just 102. We'll see where these lines move. We should maybe get to the Minnesota-Memphis game because a lot of people have been talking about that. Let me just read some comments, recent comments, and then we'll get to the Minnesota-Memphis game. Luke Charleston says Favors is turning it up. Jazz get it done. Tomarino says Hood is good but always hurt. All right. Let's see. Yes, Tomarino Tomor says Minnesota hasn't been very good on the road, and he follows them closely. They usually play to level of competition. He says this one is going to be close. Of course, Memphis is desperate for a win, as Talat Al-Tafi says. They did get a nice cover though against the Cavs last game, although they lost that one straight up, of course. So yeah, it's on paper it would appear that Minnesota is much better. I was thinking about Minnesota early. As far as the full game is concerned, I don't know. That one scares me. What do you think, Jim?
It's a tricky spot. Again, another tricky spot. The Timberwolves are on the second half of a back-to-back, and they played poorly in fourth quarters all year long. That would equate to a bad back-to-back team. If they're getting tired at the end of the games, wouldn't they get tired on the second game of 2 nights? Jimmy Butler put up 33 last night. He scored 20 or more in 8 of the last 13 games. But this is a team that's alternated wins and losses over their last 8 games. It's just tricky. Now, I really like the move that Bickerstaff did, bringing Tyreek into the starting lineup. Tyreek Evans, a starting point guard now. Mario Chalmers is just not good enough. Tyreek went off for 31 points and 12 assists. Conley is doing light workouts, won't be back until Friday at the earliest. In their loss to the Cavs, they topped 100 points for the first time since November 15th. I'd put that all on Tyreek. They shot 51.2% from the field. They were tied with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in regulation. This is a tricky spot. I'm concerned, and I'm gonna leave it alone at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it alone as well. I'd be leaning Minnesota on the first half, but I could see them coming in and just not having anything from the get-go and just being down 20 at the half. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. That's an interesting one. Jim and I, of course, are going to do this again at 6 o'clock Eastern time, so we may have different opinions on this. Of course, we'll probably have some different lines. All right, then there's some other games we didn't get to: Orlando, Charlotte, Knicks, Indiana, Phoenix, and Philly, Cleveland, Chicago. We didn't get to. Any other picks you want to add? add here, Jim?
Yeah, I'm going to add the Sixers on the first half line.
Okay.
I have been sold on this move from Pistol. I just think it's the play with this team, and I've been watching them closely. I love watching them play. 21-year-old Devin Booker put up 38 points on Saturday night in that loss to the Celtics. He's one of the 4 players in the NBA this year averaging at least 23 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and shooting 37% from 3. He joins LeBron, Durant, and Harden. But the Suns have lost 5 of 6, and they just don't have any depth. And B just went head-to-head with Andre Drummond on Saturday night and was a monster. Got in his head, and there isn't anyone in this league that this 23-year-old Embiid can't bang with. Alex Len has a sprained ankle, is questionable, which means that Chandler and Monroe will be who he'll be banging with, and he's just so much better than these 2 guys. Also, this is a nice spot for the Sixers because of Simmons having a tough night versus the Pistons. Named Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month, comes out, is held to 5 points, 10 boards, 6 assists. He's going to come out hungry, and I just loved him on the first half here.
Okay, it is a high line, 6.5 minus 105 right now at UWager. I was thinking about a shot with the under on this one, although sometimes I know one of my bad tendencies is to take unders in the NBA with teams that tend to be high scoring with high totals. But I was still thinking about a shot with the under. What do you think?
It's an interesting spot. What is the number you're getting?
Well, it's 227.5 or 228. It's all over the place. DSI is 226. Then there's all the way up to 228 at the Greek.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the Magic game last week when they won 130, 113.
Yeah.
The Sixers have no problem opening it up.
Right.
And they don't stop that from happening, which is a concern.
Yes, definitely a concern. All right, I will hold off and think about that one because I do think that line might get bet up, and we'll see. All right, anything else you want to add here, Jim?
No, the Knicks-Pacers game is obviously an interesting spot. We've talked about it on the forum before the show started. Porzingis and Hardaway remain out, did not travel. So taking 43.6 points of this weak Knick lineup is devastating. Beasley did put up 21 points in 28 minutes starting in Porzingis' place. But the Pacers start a 6-game homestand. They want to get it off on a good start. And Oladipo just continues to impress. He went off for 36 against the Raps on 14 for 22 shooting. It's double digits. It's 10 points that the Pacers have to cover. And I'm just going to continue thinking about this spot and not make a decision yet.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to hold off. Trunku says Phoenix doesn't play much deep. Yes, I know that. And yeah, so again, I'm just sort of thinking out loud here. Home Reno says Philly is playing great and they prefer an up-tempo game, which Phoenix plays. I'm just not sure if Philly will be flat. Absolutely. And all right, and then, of course, the big news, I think, is that Kemba Walker is going to be back for Charlotte, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Which will change things quite a bit. He's got a shoulder contusion, but he says he's completely ready to go. Man, was I off. When Kemba first got hurt, I said, wow, I'm excited to see Michael Carter-Williams in this spot. And he looked very bad. He can't do the job. 10.5 points, hit 5 of 17 field goals over the 2 games. Did not look good. Both teams are playing at a much faster pace this year. The Magic are scoring 6.9 points per game more than last year. The Hornets average 3 more possessions per 48 minutes, but aren't scoring much more, only 0.6 points per game more. Neither team has won a game this year when being held to double digits, so I expect points, and I expect Vucevic to have a much more difficult time, obviously, than he had against the Knicks. He went off for 34 points on 13 for 19 shooting. I mean, he was just beating up Cantor in every single spot. And Fournier's think they're going to start winning games. And it's a tricky spot. And I've said that a few times with this basketball card, but this is a game that I'm not making an official pick at this point yet.
Rehan Hyder, 1991, says, I like Orlando here, and I think it's a good spot. Hornets to cover 8 is a lot, in my opinion, even at home. Also, they have Golden State on Wednesday in the back of their minds. I was actually feeling the same way. I was thinking that, especially if Kemba Walker came back, that the first game back, it might be a good spot to take Orlando getting that many points. That was a lean of mine as well, but again, I'm going to hold off and just think about it for now. All right, let me review the picks. Then we'll look at recent comments, and then we'll see if Jim wants to add any other picks, and then we will move on. In NBA, Jim has taken the Milwaukee first half plus 2.5, Dallas minus 2.5, Utah minus 3.5, minus 101, the Spurs first half minus 1, and the Spurs full game minus 3.5, and Philly first half minus 6.5, minus 105. And in the NBA, I have taken, let's see, what do we have here? Brooklyn first quarter, I'm going to take the Pinnacle opener. Brooklyn first half plus 0.5. The New Orleans game under 228.5. The Boston Boston game over 202, and the Dallas game first half under 107, and the full game under 209. And I'm also thinking about the under in the Cleveland-Chicago game, although I don't want to take the first half under. I think it might be another one of those Cleveland games that goes way over in the first half and then slows down and winds up actually going under. So I'm kind of like thinking about just looking at how the first half goes and then making a second half play if I want to. It's a bit of a low total here considering how much Cleveland can score, but I was thinking about an under with Cleveland-Chicago. What do you think about that, Jim?
Yeah, that is an interesting play that I was thinking about as well. And has the line changed since this morning?
What, the total?
Yeah.
211, 211.5, 210.5, bouncing around.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, Cleveland won 11 straight. They're 2 off tying the franchise record for consecutive wins, something that they definitely want to accomplish. LeBron scored the Cavs' final 13 points in their 116-111 win over the Grizzlies on Sunday. That is not a good sign. Derrick Rose has returned to the team, but is unlikely to play. Tristan Thompson will be back next week, and Mine Shumpert will be out for the next 2 months. Bulls have lost 8 straight, the last 2 in heartbreaking fashion by 1 point. Mirotic is close to returning, and now Bobby Portis is out with an arm contusion. Zach LaVine was just sent to the Windy City Bulls of the G League, so he's not far away from returning. But I just don't trust the Cavs to win by big double digits in these spots. I feel like they kind of take it easy. And
yeah, Brad Dale says Bulls been playing better and Cavs been slowly slipping at the end of games. Very interesting stuff. Jeff Burke says Golden State first half overs have been juicy all year, especially against teams that are medium to fast paced. So maybe my lean to the under on that, where my official pick is not a good play at all. Let's see. And then who was that guy? King Rail just says take Timberwolves, Pete. Thank me later. Okay.
He is 11 for his last 11.
If I take him, I would take him on the first half. I'm going to look a little bit into that one. And again, we do this again at 6 o'clock Eastern time, where Jim and I review the line moves and add more picks. Or if we really want to, which I don't think either of us has done yet, we take back our picks by betting the other side, but that hasn't happened yet. But it's certainly something that we can. Charlotte is a good defensive. This is Tomarino Tomor. Charlotte is a good defensive team with Batum back. Orlando's poor outside shooting might hurt here. I'm not betting the game. Howard does struggle with athletic frontline players. I was leaning under on that one as well, and it opened at 220, and now it's down to 218 or 218.5. So yeah. Jansen Bonzone says I'm taking Magic. I think too many points for Charlotte to cover. Big card here. We've covered most of it, though. Let's see. Bookie Lover Q says Bulls hate Cavs and Cavs hate Bulls. A lot of fouls tonight. Okay. That's interesting. Nuke Suber says low-hanging 76ers first half. Y'all better ride the wave. Me and Bag on it. Okay, yeah. I mean, look, the Sixers have been a great first half bet for quite a while now. They're giving a decent amount of points here. We'll see if 6.5 is too many or not. Okay. Brad Dale says I'm on it too. Nuke Suber. That's a cool-ass name, too.
It is cool.
That's a top 10 name that I've seen this week. Definitely. Nuke Suber. Wow, that's a cool name. All right, what else do we want to give here, Jim? That's it, or should we move on?
I think we should move on.
Seahorn says Cavs only win by double digits in games where they're not favored by double digits. LOL. That's kind of true, though. Dude, that's kind of true. That's funny, but it's also kind of true, though. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Other comments? All right, so I guess we can move on. Let me just review the leans that I have. I would definitely be leaning the under in the Orlando-Charlotte game and leaning Orlando plus the points, but I'll hold off on that one for now. The Philly-Phoenix game, I guess I'm going to hold off on that one, maybe do a little bit more research. The Boston-Milwaukee game, I did bet the over, and I took it as an official pick, leaning Milwaukee on the full game as well. Brooklyn-Atlanta, I definitely took Brooklyn first half and first quarter. Cleveland-Chicago leaning under 211, but I guess I'm going to hold off and do a little bit of research into that. New Orleans and Golden State, I took the under. That might be a loser, but whatever. Minnesota-Memphis, yeah, a lot of people liking Minnesota here. Some saying I don't like to fade, desperate home teams looking for a win. Minnesota on the first half would definitely be a lean of mine. I took the Denver-Dallas under, and I guess slight lean to Detroit-San Antonio under as well. So I guess we can move on, Jim.
Yeah.
I think we covered the entire card. Let's move on to NFL, and we can't throw the NFL record up. Hey, Wanma, you still awake there? Oh, great. X, there you go. Wanma on the ball. Half a second after I asked for the NFL record to be thrown up, he throws it up. There we go. Jimmy the Bag, not too shabby. I'm 17-11 plus 4.5 units. You're 27-19 plus 6.5 units on the year, and those are quite excellent records. Small sample size, but still. The excellence of the record cannot be denied. We got one game tonight. It is here. Where the hell is that game? It is Pittsburgh against Cincinnati. The line's gotten bet down, similar to the Seattle Philly game last night. It opened at about 6. It's now down to 3.5 or 4. I have not looked into this one too deeply. What's your take on this one, if any, Jim?
It's a really difficult spot because I have not been able to make enough money off the Steelers this year. I can't really figure out when they're going to play to the level of their competition or just dominate a team. It's clear that they have a hate-on for the Bengals, which should help any Steeler backer. But the Bengals' defense is still good. It's their offense that's been the trouble all season. So I think this is going to be a brawl, just a tough game. A lot of running, a lot of scrums, a lot of pushing after the whistle, a lot of penalties, a lot of emotion. And I hate taking 5.5 points on a home. Is it still 5.5?
No, it's 3.5 or 4.
Ooh, wow,
yeah.
That is becoming much more appealing. That is becoming much more appealing because at 5.5, I did not like it. And it started at 6.5.
About 6 or 6.5, yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of money coming in on Cincinnati, and the total, I believe, has not moved much. It's about 43, right where it opened.
Yeah, it's a game I'm going to continue to think about and make a decision on the late show.
Yes.
But it is tricky, and I like that the line's going down. That makes it more appealing to take black and yellow.
Mark Lathrop says quarterback rating first game between Cincinnati Pitt, Andy Dalton 63, Roethlisberger 117.
Wow.
There you go. Yes, absolutely. Okay.
Wow.
Looking for some other comments here, and I'm also going to review a few of the other comments that came in late on NBA stuff, which is pretty interesting. Then we'll move on to college basketball. I'm going to look at this one a little bit more and maybe have a play on it in the 6 o'clock show, or it might just be a pass for me because I'm definitely going to be looking into all this other NBA and college basketball stuff that I want to. But yes, Brown might not be playing, right?
Yeah.
Antonio Brown might not be playing, so that's a big Bet the Book says, hey, Loshak and Jimmy, is there any sharp action for tonight's game? I don't know, but the way the line movement has gone, it would definitely suggest that that sharp action might have come in on Cincinnati at the big line. Steven Mraz says, just take under. I can understand that. Triple Beam says, Bengals offensive line is a mismatch. It's awful. Steelers are going to blitz aggressively. Pretty Boy D says, -3.5 Pittsburgh, easy money. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Gary Long saying, due to AB being out, might be certainly have some reason to have caused that line movement for sure. Let's see. Jeff Burke says the line is too low considering how bad Cincy has been, or maybe it's too low for a reason, right? Let's see. Looking for some other comments here. Hold on. Matt Beck says Bell goes off tonight. Took Steelers -4 and the over 43. Okay. Chris IG says Steelers are familiar with Bengals. They'll keep it under. A lot of people are liking the under tonight, and definitely split opinions on Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. And let me see. And just a lot of comments about NBA, if you don't mind me going back and reading some of that. A lot of comments about the Cavs. Jeff Burke says Cavs always seem to just barely miss double-digit spreads. Seahorn says LeBron doesn't get up for bad teams. That's why they barely beat bad teams like the Grizzlies. Yeah, as we get closer to tip-off, it might become more and more apparent that the Bulls are actually a good bet tonight, getting all that money. Steven Mraz says under on Spurs, low-hanging fruit. That's definitely a lean for sure. I haven't, I did bet that one actually, but I didn't give it as an official pick yet. Hotko Schofield says, thanks for the great research. Okay, so are you going to pass on this NFL game for now, Jim?
For now.
Okay, Brad Dale says Ben is bad on the road. That is true. We have seen that before. We have seen that angle bet on Roethlisberger to have a better game or a much better game in primetime games at home, and then when he goes on the road, expect him to struggle a little bit more. So yeah, that is certainly interesting. Isaac Manion says Pittsburgh will have to run. Jose Rodriguez says could be a trap game. Yeah. Philip Agee says can't take a risk on that Ginger Dalton. Yeah, I mean Dalton is always uncertain. That's why I like to take him as an underdog when I am taking him. Okay. I guess we can move on, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Let's move on to a college basketball. We can definitely throw up this college basketball record, Juanma, because it is definitely a lovely sight to behold. Let's look at this record for about 2 or 3 seconds, and I will and listen to my voice as I talk about the records. I'm 58-43 in college hoops, plus 11.2 units. Jim 23-14, plus 8.1 units. Just chugging out those 2-1 days. On Friday, Jim did it again. 3 solid picks, 2-1, I believe, right? Just grinding out these 2-1 days, Jim.
Also, Boise State won outright in that game.
Yes, they did, and I wound up not taking them on the full game. That was a classic second half circled game for me. I was all over Boise State second half, all over it. Thought it was a great play in the second half. Yes.
Yeah, and they stopped the Ducks' 43-game winning streak at home. That was just clearly a situation where their one team had so much length and less skill.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so it's a very short card today. Of course, Florida and Florida State are playing. That's a big, interesting matchup. I have not made any bets on these games yet. I have not even looked into them too in depth, but I am definitely going to. And by 6 o'clock Eastern time, when we do the 6 o'clock show, I will probably have a bunch of picks that I'm liking a decent amount, enough to give out publicly. Jimmy the Bag, have you looked at this card at all yet?
I have looked at this card, but I'm going. It's a perfect schedule for us to hammer every single game. There's 10 in total, and the one game is at 6:30. Is that? I believe that's Michigan, Ohio State. That will be the game we'll have to get to first.
Yes.
I'm really excited to break down the Wisconsin Penn State game. Also, of course, as Pete said, the Florida State-Florida game is just too exciting, and it's going to be an interesting breakdown. 6'6" junior Jalen Hudson averaging 21.7 points. 6'5" senior Igor Kulichev averaging 17.7 and 7 rebounds a game, but Florida State starting guards are both 6'6", and Terrence Mann and Brian Angola will be able to step up to that challenge. The Gators lead the nation at 99.5 points per game. Seminoles ranked 22nd at 88.8 points a game. And the over-under sitting at, I believe it's 163 last time I checked. So there's lots of money to be made on this college card, and we are going to hammer it.
Okay, all right. We're getting some opinions here. Bookie Lover Q says Penn State will win. Okay, they're a 5-point favorite though. Does that mean they will cover? He just said they will win. Here you go. Nuke Suber says, "Damn, y'all made my day, man, with the shout-outs. I'm putting everybody on the show. We need to expand, fellas. Thank you so much." Nuke Suber, not only a guy with a cool name, but makes great comments as well. See, I'm like that too. It's not just that I look cool. It's that I also know my shit when it comes to sports betting. You know what I mean? That the worst thing in the world is if the surface doesn't reflect what's on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. All that matters is picking winners.
Right, absolutely. Nuke Suber has a cool screen name and also makes good comments. All right, so Gary Long says, already on Penn State and Florida. Yep, there you go. Okay, I guess that's about it. Missouri State to get Gerald Martinez says Missouri State to get revenge on North Dakota State. Defense and offense picking up. Missouri State just took out South Dakota State by 20 on the road. We know how good they are. Missouri State as a small favorite over North Dakota State. That's certainly interesting. The line has moved a little bit in their favor. Opened 1.5, now up to 2.5. All right, we will look into that. I will have an opinion later on for sure. Not sure what I think about it right now, and no official picks from you as yet, Jim, right?
No, none as of yet, but all afternoon we will be hammering these games, and it's such a treat to see a schedule of games that we can knock down each game.
Yes, absolutely. Jim and I will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific Time to review the line moves on the picks we've already given, and to maybe add a few picks to our total slate, take away a few picks. Maybe I should review all the picks as of right now, right?
Sure.
Okay, let's review them all. These are Jim's picks in total. In hockey, Jim has Calgary puck line plus 210 and Washington puck line plus 253, and the Philly-Calgary game over 5.5 minus 112. In the NBA, Jim has Milwaukee first half plus 2.5, Dallas minus 2.5, Utah minus 3.5 minus 101, Spurs first half minus 1, Spurs full game minus 3.5, and Philly first half minus 6.5 minus 105, and nothing else as yet on NFL or college basketball. And I have in hockey Washington minus 1, the Boston-Nashville first period under minus 105, and the Philly-Calgary game over 5.5 minus 112. In the NBA, I've got Brooklyn first quarter, pinnacle opener, first half plus a half minus 111. The New Orleans game under 228.5 minus 110, which I'm now realizing might be a wrong pick, but we'll see where that line moves. The Boston game over 202 minus 110, and the Dallas game first half under 107, and the full game under 209. And those are all the picks that we have so far. Check back at 6 o'clock Eastern time to see where these lines have moved and what picks Jim and I want to add or take away from our official slate. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.